Okay, so it is Wednesday morning and probably around 9 o'clock a.m. and I already got a very significant turnaround for the world, or at least maybe for the United States. And what I realized, my spirit guides told me, they continued on the whole idea of what I was talking about with Me Too a couple days ago, and that is that the Me Too movement was not created to empower women. It was masterfully created by the same types of people that have turned the United States upside down in unrecognizable ways. Very smart, and a lot of mind manipulation. You know, I guess that's the name of the game. You know, whoever holds the keys to how to influence. And that's interesting because that's what in the FOUCAULT's Pendulum by Umberto Eco, that's what they're ultimately looking for, you know, the Knights Templars keys. All about secret societies, that book. And that they were the ones that potentially were the ones that were the purest, the reason why it began. Which is would be interesting to uncover, but anyways, so the reason why I believe that it was created by agendas that have about empowered women is because, you know, when, as I mentioned, you know, when are we calling forth the victim to stretch beyond their own comfort level? Usually we're trying to console the victims, and it's the perpetrators, it's the ones that, the predatory people, or the predatory moments. You know, I totally don't know how anything works, that make us less human, and or the lowest human. Sort of like what Leah was talking about last night in the sacred storytelling about whales, is that there was this understanding that everybody worked together, and if one two-legged, maybe even, I think throughout the world, if one was meant to survive and needed to consume a life to continue so, another could offer up itself as consumption. And it was a part of the circle, and everything understood and worked together. And then at some point, which was not revealed, maybe I'm supposed to be revealing it here, you got to be sharp. The Garden of Eden, I guess, you know, the domination of will over, you know, a type of flow, individual will, an individual will that has stepped outside of the collective. I mean, I can't even imagine how you'd have the kind of courage to do something like that, but, you know, obviously that courage has paid off in very, very powerful ways. So much to be respected, even, you know, if it's just much to be respected. Whatever side you're on, much to be respected. The whole thing that I have the issue with is this feels not respected, is deception. Deception, when you cloud people's minds, then you're just creating robots, and what fun is that? To be able to persuade another passionately about what it is that you are enlisting them for is to bring them into the story. So yeah, this is what this is about. It's about disclosure. It's about illumination. Interesting word. Illumination. So that's the difference here. It's not an adi, it's an Asian. Adi versus Asian. Adi versus Asian. Remember that. In that. Okay, so the way that the universal flow, I think, works is you can knock somebody down, but what you're gonna find out is, yeah, you may hurt the one, you may disable the one for a moment, but the collective will start to come together, and then there will be that one that is the whistleblower and says, hey, I see, and I see. So the reason that was effective by somebody planting, whoever has been raped should come forth and, be courageous and reveal yourself. And the reason why that was such a mindfuck, and if you think about, maybe that may really have been the cloak. Oh my God, this could be even bigger. Because if you think what that did for the image of women, it probably created so much confusion, because nobody wants to think about their mom, a woman, their wife, their sister, anybody that's not, no, you don't want to think about, unless you're a predator. You don't want your Virgin Mary to be compromised. And if she is compromised, you want it to be in fun, in the privacy of your own bedroom. And so you can still hold on to the idea that women are a certain way, that we are the givers of life. We're not the creators of life, but we're the givers of life. So that in and of itself, but then you have, we're also the nurturers, The nurturers they affect your internal dialogue probably more than anything. And if you have a good childhood, then you can open up and flow for universal benefit much faster. And if you have a not good childhood, then it's like you're in a swamp. But being in a swamp, you don't get that far in a swamp if you don't sharpen your skills before you move forward. So there is a benefit. Everything, even the, most predatory action. Give us a few minutes and we'll figure out how to make this our benefit. So the thing about the ideology of, you know, the Virgin Mary is, as women, we shouldn't have to have anybody else's agenda clouding all the fascination of who and what we are. And so when we decide to step out of that celestial Mother Earth box, it should be for that which tells our story, because it's worth it. It's worth it to step outside of the box for your own self. But when one grows, everyone grows. And so for people to be able to see you authentically, the real it will, you know, people will gravitate more to the ones whose story it reaches in to that internal portal of pulse. And so that's the Me Too movement now. It became forced upon everybody's psyche to see their mothers as in the sex act, where somebody is overpowering her, you know, that would just create so much confusion, because it happened way before you could even react. So unless you were a time traveler, that's another way, you know. Go back and defend your mom, defend your daughter, defend your wife, defend your sister. So I have a feeling in the future, hopefully soon future, the world is going to be a safer place, or at least for this next vibration. Okay, so stay tuned for the next video, which is going to be the empowerment of what this video is. How long? Oh, you know what? I'm going to keep on. It's only 12 minutes. Okay, so the big reveal, sorry, I wanted to give it to you, is this. Women, all the Me Too women especially, and anybody that in any way, you know, really society sort of rapes us. It's true. You know, this idea that we can't lead a life beyond that our own passion in life and purpose, and listening to the pulse of the earth and the voices in the wind. Why we have to be so hell-bent on survival, and inauthentic survival, working for someone else. You know, there's levels of survival that sharpen our skills. And those are the ones that we endure and we come to appreciate, because we know they are our teachers and we trust them. But in the, you know, the angst of so much of our life, so much of our energy, so much of our focus, so much of our, life is a depletion. No wonder we die. So there is a big eternal rape that's going on as well. And that is maybe a little harder to pinpoint, but I think for those of us that want to tell the story of our raper is how we personalize those stories and find the meaning, find the answers. And so, and maybe somehow this is part of the reveal for our own story that we can't see. Maybe whoever initially did inject us with the implant maybe that's the portal that closed us. And so so this is how we take back our power, because they're not going to come forward. They're not going to want to cleanse their soul with a confession. So let's us reveal them and take it back. Boom! Mine happened when I was in college. University of Missouri, Columbia, Mizzou. I was a freshman. And I didn't know who I was. I jumped through fire hoops and probably created a whole lot of magic to ultimately belong to two fraternal organizations. Haha, was I brainwashed? That I was able to claim a higher identity than my own. I became an active member in the Kappa Delta sorority and went through an initiation, secret initiation, down into a chapter room, where the elders were in cloaks, and the initiation ceremony was very secret society. Oh my God, Kappa Delta is the white rose. They are the Templars, or a sisterhood of the Templars. Those were cool. Wow. And in fact, I heard later they stopped. I don't know. That's not important. Wow. How about that? It's just exactly what my life is going through right now. Big reveal when I awakened to my Essenes was the same period of time, months, same month, same day, that I was raped and I was cloaked. So right after they were like, boom, you're starting to get the tingle of who you are. Oh, wow. No wonder fraternities pop up around sororities. But as is my strength, this is who I am. And that's what FOUCAULT's pendulum talks about. At some point, the secret societies have to stop being secret and say, this is the truth I know. Let's stop hiding. And so my raper, I was also a little sister in the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity. A fraternity that year and years before and years after would just win up everything. all the sporting competitions, homecoming dances, Greek week. They were efficient. They were organized. They were the Borg. How about that? And I felt pride, because you had to work, during rush. You had to convince. Ha ha ha. You had to convince 3 actives to choose you. And in a time where it seemed like everybody was all about beauty and grades, and I was none of that. But I knew when to be authentic. And I think that is when the light shined through. And I also became a little sister at 2 other fraternities. Delta Upsilon, where I was almost pinned. I was in a relationship with one. Always in a relationship with one. And Delta Sigma Phi. And I was, another Randy. This is weird. In a relationship with a very unusual, strange Randy. Could have been a warped Palladian. Probably not, because he wanted to love. He told me the secrets to his initiation. And then we had such a strange, that was almost a rape. I actually had to yell out. Whoa, that was weird. I remember that one. Oh, I haven't even thought about that one, because that one I actually saved the day. And so that would have been later that year? No, the next year. Wow. Okay, so now you've got 2 different fraternities. No, now you got 3. Okay, so the third one was the DU. And that one, he was obsessed with me. That was my sophomore year at Mizzou. And our houses were right opposite, because now I was in the sorority house. My grades initially, I wasn't going to at the last minute, and then I had to find off-campus housing. And that was crazy, and at the last minute a space opened up in the house. That was, I don't know what all that was, but. So I was able to have the respect and distinction of the house, because I was less than because of my grades. I was in a back room. They took me in a back corner. The elders did. The active, alums. pretty much tell me, break me down, maybe. I don't really deserve to live in the house because I didn't get good grades. But because there's space available and they believe in me. And because I wanted to clamber to that next level of power, I agreed. Pretty much live the way that I live, but at that time I agreed. And that relationship, he just became obsessed with me. And the infatuation, and he was another wayward Palladian. These beautiful blonde hair, blue eyed. And they did have this thing with their eyes. So, that, whoever knew about the wayward Palladians, huh? His name was John. And when ultimately I broke up with John, because I had to be back with my soulmate was calling. My soulmate needed me. And at that time, I just wanted to just forget, because now he was getting to the point where he was repulsing me. And then there was another one named Mark in high school. That was not a rape, but that was another moment. Wayward Palladian, the blonde hair, blue eyed, holding me down to party on the floor. Tears falling down their eyes, asking why I couldn't love them. Do you know what I got you for Christmas? Do you know? And I did know, but I didn't care. Because now he had sort of repulsed me. And then there was another one named Ted. Now this one, remember Ted, because I don't think he ever did anything mean. I think he actually one of those that ultimately was a surprise in the end. Okay, so that could be the good one. And then the bad ones may have come after Ted. Okay, interesting. So John, I just wanted to be back. I heard my soulmate call. He says to me, he's crazy, right? Just going crazy at the drinking and getting drunk, and he just can't handle. He poured out the love so strong, it was suffocating. At first you think it's nice, and then you find it doesn't feel good. And you take off their hockey jersey that you wear at bedtime. And you say, no, I don't want to sleep with this anymore. And so just to be rid of that energy, I made a pact. Which was interesting. Because the reason that I had swan dived is because my soulmate had made a pact that I was trying to free him of with the devil. And I was the devil's prize. That's how he knew I was real. Okay, so anyways, John, he says, okay, I'll free you of all me. I won't do any of this anymore. I'll let you go. But you have to let me have sex with you. One last time. And I did. And I understood what it felt like to be a prostitute. There you go. And then, we don't have to go to the, I think we talked a little bit about the Delta Sigma Phi Randy, who, he told me their initiation secrets. And when he tried to rape me, we were in Kansas City for their formal. But it wasn't, we had never done anything close to that. But he had told people we had. And I guess maybe they were making him prove it. And so there was a witness in the room, my roommate, and another Delta Sig. So before the formal, the dance, the celebration, where he was going to rape. And so we were, we were in our dresses, I think. Or maybe not even our dresses. Maybe it was before we all got dressed. And we were all just, me and Randy were on the bed just kissing, and they were on the floor because he wasn't as high up as Randy was. Just sort of making out in the same room. And which was fine, because it was fun to be there, away from home, with somebody cool. He had, for the formal, he had Randy Sandy. Homecoming was the first time Randy Sandy, our names engraved on glass, and he didn't spell my name right. He spelled it like his, and that immediately went to the bottom of the distinction chart. So there you go. I'm already starting to take back my power. He gives me a ring for Christmas, sapphire. My mom meets him. That's weird. My mom is all giddy and good, and everybody's looking cool, and I'm feeling cool for probably the only time in my life. Yeah. So the rape, the attempted rape, came that spring when they were doing their formal in Kansas City. And we were making out on the bed, and it was good. And then all of a sudden I felt his energy just shift. And there was an look in his eyes. But in that there was a split second of wondering if he would be able to do it, and then the next minute saying, fuck it, I'm doing it, which they just underestimated me. So, and ultimately it was their own destruction. So that's all we'll say about that. And then so going back to the first, yeah, because Mark was not, the first physical rape was Randy, who was the Pi Kappa Alpha. And that was the one who, he was a wayward Palladian. Oh my God, this, just the white skin, he sort of looked like he was a composer from Mozart's day. His mom had just died, I think, the year before or something, so he wasn't all the way right. Even one time when we were really drunk and we were going out, and I was trying to ask him about his mom. And I was just beseeching him in the darkness. Tell me, what's it like? Tell me, what's it like? Does she talk to you? Maybe that's why I had to be raped. Because he was starting to remember his mom and a relationship that raped him. Because he loved his mom. And if you no longer know how you feel about your mom, it's hard to trust yourself. So, I think that's all I need to say about that. And you got a bunch for the price of maybe 4? Good God. And I say, no more. No more. Taking it back. Let it all be what it's supposed to be. Whatever it's supposed to be. Play above the board. Here comes the light. Here comes the shadow. Let's come together.